Hello, Weekend Warriors, and welcome back to the channel.
Twenty minutes later.
My dad has something very special for you today. As you can see, he dropped me off at school, so I guess I don't get to help today. My grandpa loves building deer stands, even more than deer hunting itself. Today, Grandpa and Dad will use 3 parts from cheap ladder stands to build one giant 22-foot ladder. Enjoy.
Allow me to start with a disclaimer. Building something like this to support the weight of a human being 22 feet in the air is a risky undertaking. I show you this build for entertainment purposes only. The welder I'm using is my Century 180 welder, which I got off of Marketplace some years ago. Century is now owned by Lincoln, but that didn't happen until 2003, and my setup predates that merger.
All right, what's your plan?
I'm using a 75-25 argon CO2 mix shielding gas, which I get from a local supplier. You will also see me using my Yes Welder 55 amp plasma cutter. This is a purchase from the Jungle website and really does a pretty good job as long as you understand that you'll not be able to cut half-inch plate or bigger with it. Now, I've been collecting cheap metal ladder stands over the years. Some have come from marketplace purchases, other from rummage sales, some from friends and acquaintances, and some from other places. Dad was fortunate enough to be given an ATV shipping pallet, which provided all of the 2x1 square tubing that you see us using to support the platform and build the railings. There was very little cost involved. The fact of the matter is that my father and I no longer use a lot of the stands I have stored away anymore, and the way we hunt has evolved. Here's what I mean by that. Time is always my biggest enemy, and I think anyone out there with a family and children, plus full-time jobs, understands. Thus, I don't have the time to prep for hunting season like I once did. Dad is getting older and has transitioned from a vertical bow to a crossbow. He, or I for that matter, are simply not as agile as we once were. I mean, 25 to 30 years ago, it was not unusual to climb a tree and stand on a limb for 6 hours. Now, comfort and safety have become much more important factor to us. Our family farm has also evolved, as you will clearly be able to see in the later parts of this video. From a number of environmental factors, you will see that we have very little underbrush or cover on the forest floor. It's very common to blow deer out of the woods every time you walk in because of the lack of cover and mostly flat topography. It's difficult to find trees that we can get stands in which allow the basic principle of breaking up the human silhouette. The way I see it, our option is to go up. This will accomplish 2 things. 1, it will help push the hunter out of the deer's scent cone. 2, it will put the hunter closer to the forest canopy and accomplish that breaking up of the human silhouette. I did take inventory on what stands I had and pointed out to Dad what he could cut up, and he got to work. The stand you see Dad and I working on today is being engineered for a specific location and even a specific tree. This is just one of 3 stands that have been modified so far this year to fit a specific scenario. The intent is to have several locations on our farm that are easily accessible, safe, comfortable stands that increase our opportunity to be successful during the next season. Well, that's quite the monstrosity there, but if we can get enough people to get it up in the air, it should make for a great, comfortable stand, especially when you're sitting long days during the rut. As you can see, some of my welds look wonderful, and there are others, not so much. Now I figured we would probably get this thing built and it would sit till spring or even summer. But as many of you living in the Midwest know, we are experiencing the warmest winter on record. It is presently March in Wisconsin and we are experiencing 70-degree temperatures on a fairly regular basis. Dad was insistent that we get this thing in the air. This was so much the case that he went a couple days before we stood the stand up and he set up scaffolding around the chosen tree to make getting this hoss in the air a more pleasurable experience. Geez, 79 years old and the man is slinging scaffolding sections around by himself. I hope to be half that active when I reach his age. With that said, he rounded up the neighbors, I rounded up my father-in-law, and we got it done. This was March 10th. What a gorgeous day it was. I'm telling you that the footage of the stand does not do the size of it justice. This thing is huge. You can see that we added additional bracing below the platform, which ties into the ladder. We added 3 braces between the ladder and tree. Finally, we used a logging chain and a chain binder to secure the stand to the tree. I'm here to tell you that based on my experience, that there is no better connection to a tree than a chain and a binder. It is just simply superior to the ratchet straps that are provided by the stand manufacturers. The only thing you need to be cognizant of is that if you don't readjust the chain and binder setup on occasion, the tree will grow right over the chain and in some cases the binder, and you'll never get it back. Ask me how I know that. The growth of the tree can also cause structural issues to your stand, such as bent platforms and anchoring points being twisted, as well as the ladder being twisted. I'm here to tell you that I am by no means an expert welder or fabricator, but these are self-taught skills that have come in extremely handy over the years. I don't have a lot of money sunk into my equipment, and it's paid me back time and time again, just like on this project. If you've enjoyed what you saw, give the video a thumbs up, drop a comment below, and tell me what unique things you do to make your deer adventures better. Always remember, never pay someone to do what you are capable of doing yourself.